Good morning. This is a video for worksheet 8.2, graph and identify the features of each quadratic. So this is specifically problem number 4 on your worksheet. So this is 3 points. We are going to start by finding our x-intercepts, and there's 2 of them. So our equation is y equals x squared plus 6x plus 8. We are going to start with factoring. We should be pretty familiar with this now. We've been doing it for the last 3 units. So we're going to find something that multiplies to 8 and adds to 6. I went ahead and found this for you. It's 2 and 4. 2 times 4 equals 8. 2 plus 4 equals 6. And so then we rewrite it as y equals x plus 2 times x plus 4. After we have factored it out, we now need to write our 2 equations. So we have x plus 2 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0. Solve that out and we end up with x equals -2 and x equals -4. Those are our 2 x-intercepts. So when we go to graph those, you'll come over to your graph and you'll do x equals -2 and x equals -4. Now that we've found our x-intercepts, we need to find our y-intercept. So again, we have the equation x squared plus 6x plus 8. Your y-intercept is always going to be this number without an x attached to it every single time. So your y-intercept is going to be 8. So that's going to be 0.08 on your graph. So you can come over here and you plot it on your graph or on the y-axis, 0.08 right here. After we have found our y-intercept, we need to find that middle point between our 2 x points. So we're going to use our axis of symmetry. So we have -b over 2a is what we're using. Use that every single time. If you need a refresher from last unit, it goes a, b, and then c. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 6. So we plug that into our formula, -b, so we're going to have -6 over 2 times 1. This you could go ahead and just type into your calculator, or you could solve it out, and you should get -3. So our axis of symmetry, that's this dotted line here, goes through -3. So axis of symmetry is -3. Now, when we go to find our vertex, you're going to use that -3, your axis of symmetry, as your x value. So you're going to take that -3 that we just found and replace all of your x values. And you can either type it into the calculator just like this, or you can go ahead and solve it out. And you should get y equals -1. So that's going to be -3, -1 for your vertex. So -3, -1. So we've got our vertex here. Our x-intercepts. Our y-intercept. And this is our axis of symmetry. Okay, now that we have found all of the points for our graph, we need to talk about our domain and our range. Your domain is going to be your x values. So your domain is your x values. So if I were to keep expanding this graph forever and ever, because that's what those arrows mean, is that we can go on forever and ever, I will eventually hit all of the x values, infinite number of them, all of them. So instead of trying to list those all out or writing out all real numbers, we're going to use this R symbol. So this R symbol, the R with the slash through it, means all real numbers. However, with our range, which is our y values, we've got this bottom point here, and our arrows are going up and away from it. So that means that this graph is never going to be lower than this point here. So -1. -1 is the smallest our y values will ever go. So our range will be y is greater than or equal to -1. Because it can be -1, it can be 8, it can be 10,000, but it's never going to be -2 or anything below that.